most Nigerian roads, until recently, are not designed for the prosperity of the country. This statement is a supply chain statement. So if you understand supply chain management very well, when we are talking about roads that are designed for prosperity of the country, we are talking about Coastal Road, Badagry, Sokoto Road. What are these roads feeding? For instance, now when the Coastal Road is fully completed, that means fresh seafood from Horon can get to Lagos within 6 hours.
Yes, I agree.
And this is where the consumption is.
All right, good day again, and welcome to another refreshing episode of Talking Watts. We still have our special guest again, which is a very rare privilege to have TBO with us. And welcome again to Talking Watts.
Thank you very much.
All right, so in our last episode, we were discussing about CNG vehicles. You've convinced me to, let's say, 82.5% to start considering CNG vehicles. Or even the CNG conversion. And I think in that light, I might even be tilting towards maybe direct CNG vehicles instead of converted CNG vehicles, just to limit the risk, or to start from vehicles that go pay me. If I convert to CNG, if anything goes wrong, I know that, okay, it's a small car, all those things, right? Now we're taking the conversation a little further because Nigerians are seeking alternatives. Alternative to power, alternative to mobility. And that's one reason why we're having this conversation. There's a whole new world there, which is not really new, but it's relatively newer than the other existing modes of transportation, which is electric mobility. We have electric bikes in the country, we have electric vehicles in the country. So can you explain what that transition process will be like? So for example, when our cars go bad, it's either you make a personal decision to come to big bosses like you, people that know what they are doing, they know what is the problem, and go and fix it. Or we'll find a Kamaru by the roadside that will do trial and error. Put it here, does it work? Yes. Doesn't work? Yes. Try this next. Right. So that has been established for most of the combustion engine vehicles. Coming down to EVs, I've not seen a roadside mechanic for EVs. I've not seen a small shop or something that just has a spanner or something for EVs. What do you think could be the roadblocks to the adoption of electric vehicles in Nigeria?
Okay, thank you very much. Before I answer your question,
Okay.
please, if any Kamaru is listening, should not
Do try and error.
I'm telling you, should not go near electric vehicle. The power sometimes is some above 400 volts.
400 volts, yes. Some
Yes.
600 volts
That
architecture.
means that person will turn to barbecue
Immediately. A wrong move.
So that's why people have to be trained and certified and licensed to be able to
Work on electric
vehicles. So
it's high voltage.
exactly. So you can't find a roadside that will handle an electric vehicle, at least for a very, very long time. Yeah, it requires a level of education to even interact with vehicles that are made today, and
Even the newer vehicles, yes.
talk less of you are solving a problem and you have to reprogram a particular module to make that vehicle to work,
accept the changes you
to
made.
accept the changes. Have you seen a vehicle that you are changing shock absorber? Because there's a particular brand that visited our workshop recently. We changed shock absorber, and after changing the shock absorber, you have to code the shock absorber
into the system.
You have to code the shock absorber to work
with the vehicle.
Yes.
So somebody was even saying something. Sorry for interrupting you. That recently, that when there was this downsides in the production of microchips all over the world because of AI and those things, they said it started affecting automobile industries because most of our vehicles now are computers on wheels. So is that our reality now? Is it that, okay? Because in some cases, in our, not our time, not that old now, in the in the early years of the days of the Peugeot 504, There's no brain box. There's no you
it's
connect
not-
wire anyhow. Do this one. Start your car. You are moving.
Yeah.
So why this level of complication? Is it for safety? Why did we decide to complicate mobility?
So I don't want to say you're complicating mobility. I think it's more of different innovation coming into play. People looking for something that will bring comfort and improve safety.
Safety, okay.
You understand? And as a result of that, you like the brand you
so
mentioned
sort of
the other
intelligence
time.
has to come into the system.
Exactly. So, and you know, one way or the other to help reduce human error as much as possible.
Okay.
Like when you have vehicles that have other system, when
Sorry, can you explain what ADA system is? It's not ADA as a girl. so that those who are listening, they don't know what ADA system is, they can understand what it means.
Is an advanced driver assist system.
Okay.
So and you know most vehicles are equipped with cameras.
Yes, LiDAR sensors.
Exactly. So when it senses that probably maybe somebody is ahead of you or at the speed you are moving, you are not pressing the brake and you are very close to something, the vehicle brakes itself. So those are the safety, and that's why, you know, all this technology are being introduced to vehicles to make it as safe as possible, because a car is a dangerous weapon. Understand? You know, it's a weapon. So, and even we have gotten to a point that there are some cars that even if you want to use it as a weapon, it will not allow you to. You know.
So I'm digressing further and further and further, but we'll still come back to the main conversation, right? So I was watching a documentary, and initially I was kind of against the idea of vehicles being driverless, because I'm looking at situations of a driverless car going through Shodi, a driverless car understanding when Agberu is on the road, a driverless car understanding that there's police checkpoints, a whole lot of things, complications that are in our own architecture, right? A driverless car understanding the depth of potholes that you will see suddenly at 120 kilometers per hour. How does man navigate it? But in that documentary, I heard a comment, and the comment was stating that part of the idea of driverless vehicles is that in the nearest future, one of the ways they're trying to control safety is literally that vehicles will be communicating with other vehicles. As simple as you are driving towards a traffic stop. The vehicles are communicating with the traffic lights. The traffic lights communicating with the vehicles. And there would not be a situation where somebody is just crazy enough to run the red light. Because the vehicle will not even move, because it's driverless, literally. So the vehicle will literally not move until the light turns green. So that already eliminates the issue of running red lights and causing accidents. So I started reasoning that, okay, yes, some of these things are becoming, but I fear for Nigeria.
Well, if you look at it, as much as you have the advantages, it also has its own
disadvantages, yes.
For instance, to cause chaos in a city,
just hack that system. Everybody's in trouble.
Everybody is in trouble.
Hey,
so,
destination
and
changed.
the trouble will even
be worse
than
manual vehicles.
Than when somebody has control. My fear is that we get to a point that people begin to lose some skills. For instance, typing skill. I remember when I first learned how to type.
Oh, typewriter those days. It was part of our curriculum in school.
Yes. So
we actually bought typewriter in business studies.
I was doing 80 words per minute.
Yes, I remember. Understand? And those days, we had no deletes.
Yes.
So whatever you're typing, you can't type backspace. You have to be precise.
So you may underestimate the strength of character that was built
from typing those days.
Because you want to be fast, you want to be precise.
No errors. And then the shorthand came in.
Yes. So now people are going to lose some skills. Driving skills could be part of it. Because just enter into your car, you tell your car where you're going there. And when issues comes,
You can't really help yourself
You can't
because,
really help yourself.
like when I remember the days where we had a lot more manual vehicles. When your battery is dead, you will just say, put it on gear 2.
Your car can even
clutch
misbehave,
and just jack
but the car can respond to you driving it manually.
Yeah.
You understand? How do you navigate that? That's one. I've talked about the issue of somebody can hack and cause chaos. The second one is losing the skills, and the skills could be important when you have some emergencies. The third one is there are some things that I feel personally that government need to regulate, not because of anything, but because
of sanity.
Sanity. No, not only sanity, because of the reality of your economy. And I will tell you this. If you go to Germany, I think the average age of their workforce, the indigents, I think it's about 50 years.
Yes, they're getting older.
Yes. In Africa, we have like average of 19,
20 years.
20 years old. So now, if they automate most of their things over there, it will help them. Here,
because they're aging population.
yes, here, before you automate, think of about
the number of jobs you are
that
taking
you
away.
take away. So while we are also adopting that, we also need to have at the back of our mind that what are the alternatives we are providing for these people if you want to take the job away. And I'm always of this mindset that if you have to forgo something for another thing, and you don't have any intellectual capital
to manage that transition,
no, that you are benefiting from as a nation.
Okay.
Somebody is profiting
from that
your migration, and your people are suffering from it. And that's why our policies have to be speaking to each other. I'll set an example to you. Personally, if I have my way, I will tell the government, don't put any speed rail across Nigeria.
Why?
Yeah. Put big roads. Let people drive their vehicles so that people can buy tires.
Economic.
Hmm.
So you see, on that speed rail, I think you mentioned automation, and I was chilling like, okay, let me wait. I don't want to interrupt you. I've been to several countries, especially most of the countries in the Gulf region before this whole drama. Most of their trains are driverless. In Europe, a lot of driverless trains there, right? And these trains work with precision and accuracy. We've not gone to automation. We are still on manual. Have you heard the recent news of the different havocs that have happened on our roads? So imagine if it was automation and for some reason, software error, software bug, power outages, that would have been a bigger disaster.
Yeah. Even developed countries, we have seen where there are accidents.
Even with the automated trains. I think the one happened in Japan recently.
Recently, yeah.
So where are we rushing to? Let me just put it like that. Because it's almost like we try to model our economy or our reality after some so-called established countries. So in this use case now, coming down to mobility now, these are migration to electric vehicles. Are we just trying to look nice, like, okay, let's catch up with the other world? Or it's really a necessity for us in Nigeria?
Well, I think I would say, anything that would drive energy security, where people have alternatives, I will support it. Do you understand?
Because anything can disrupt the supply chain of any other source of energy.
Exactly.
That's
and
true.
we could see what is happening in the Middle East now.
It's a lot.
And that's why diesel prices, the crude oil prices are going up, and is impacting on. For instance, now, let's say we have been using CNG for a while now, and we now have a mix of electric vehicles with it.
So that means we will have like three
different
alternative sources of energy
shielded from the shock. You understand? So, and uh, part of part of it is the our approach to ownership, which I believe the Gen Z generation, most of them don't want to own, just want to have access
Yeah,
to it. That's why Uber is thriving, Airbnb, and all that. And I think ride sharing should be a big thing we need to be considering around here. But ride sharing will only be effective if security is also solid.
Yes, securing the driver and even the passengers. I have a side note. So, my first vehicle was a Mitsubishi Galant.
Okay.
I can't forget. I think I bought that car maybe 200 something or 300k with AC and everything. And that car then, I think I was like the fifth Nigerian that owned the car.
Interesting.
The car was not fantastic in appearance. It's probably maybe like a 1999, some ridiculously old vehicle like that. But it was functional for me because it was getting from point A to point B. In fact, let me tell you how you understand better because you fix vehicles, right? If I'm going on the highway and I want to go uphill, I have to turn off my AC so I have enough power to climb the hill. So you know the kind of vehicle I'm talking about. It's so bad that where I walk there, when I park my vehicle, no human being on earth can put the car on reverse. It's an automatic car. So I'm the only one that knows how to handle the gas lever and how to drop it and to enter reverse that no other person can get. So that's the vehicle. But even as at that time, I knew a lot of friends that would insult me and yab me like, oh, what kind of terrible car do you have and all those things. They don't have a vehicle. They would rather go ride sharing than owning such vehicles. So in their own opinion, they would rather have no vehicle than have that kind of vehicle. But for me, that vehicle was a huge leap for me. It changed the way I could move and do business. It changed the way I could think. Because I have one now, I can probably think on how I can acquire a better vehicle. I can start thinking of how to save, but that's my opinion. So which of this side of the coin do you tilt towards? Is it that okay, it's better to, in quotes, stick with ride hailing, enjoy ride hailing, and or just start whatever kind of vehicle you can afford as long as it's not polluting the environment and it's safe enough to drive?
So I think this is an economic question. It's not just getting
because cost of my vehicle was less than somebody's 3 months Uber cost.
Well, yes, that's true. There are a lot of things you put into consideration when you're buying a car. Okay, for instance, maintenance, and it depends on how you optimize your resources. For somebody like me, if I buy a premium brand that I drive, it's beyond providing mobility for myself. It's sending a message.
You have to send that message.
Yes, so that if I meet you and you own Lamborghini, you own Porsche, you'll
be comfortable enough to release your vehicle.
You'll be comfortable enough to release your vehicle to me.
Yeah.
Because if this is what I'm driving, I understand the technology. You understand?
That's true.
That's one. Two, if I go for meetings, let's say if you're trying to get a contract or whatever, we go for meetings. The reality in our market is that people will size you up. If we give him these hundreds of millions, I hope he will not run away. You understand? That's for some people, their work doesn't require that.
Yes.
You understand? And you also need to understand optics around here. And the value you place on your time is also part of it. You understand? If you own a vehicle and you want to go somewhere, you check the map, you can plan your route.
You are not waiting for a vehicle to arrive to pick you up in 4 minutes and later cancel out on you.
Exactly. So there are so many things. You can have meetings in your car while you're driving. A lot of things can happen. there are some meetings you
You can
can't
have
have
very
in.
private conversations.
Yes, you can't have private conversations when you are.
Especially when there are some financial
Exactly.
financial terms involved.
Then, in this Lagos, I will tell you,
Hmm.
if you have a family, a car is not a luxury.
Hmm.
It's a
Hey,
necessity.
it is necessity. That is true.
Yes.
Very true.
So
Especially when you have younger children.
yes, even if it's a car that
Hmm.
you have to add water and oil every morning.
Every morning.
I'm telling you, because there could be time that somebody needs to go to the hospital in the midnight.
Hmm.
You just don't want to go and be looking for vehicle or looking for
Neighbors.
So you have to understand the environment you are. You have to understand the economic part of it. You have to also understand the problem you are trying to solve. Are you trying to solve just mobility problem, or you're trying to solve status problem with it?
Yes.
You understand? So when you put all those, and that should also inform the kind of car people buy, and that's why it's just funny to me when people want to buy a car. Somebody will be telling me that get me a 2000 or 2005 vehicle, and I look at the person's status, and I look at the person might, some people think that I just don't want to spend money on it. But if you are a business person and I have an idea of the kind of business you do, I can advise you. They shouldn't be seeing you with this kind of car, because there are some conversations you cannot have with some people. You understand? And if you say, I don't bloody care.
Some people see it as a liability.
Yes.
For some persons, the vehicle is an asset.
Yes, it is. Again, in an environment where you do have fluctuation in your inflation, one of the best ways to retain value is used vehicles. When you buy used vehicles, people don't really know that.
Because you buy it at a subsidized rate, it's not at the rate of a brand new vehicle.
Yes.
Because brand new vehicle will depreciate really faster.
Yes.
But a used vehicle would have depreciated a little. You, to an extent, you bought at that price, and if inflation comes, the same vehicle that you bought, let's say 5 million last year, is now worth 6 million. So while selling it off self, you still made some net gains because of the inflation that came up.
Exactly. And if you have just small value to it,
you can get the next vehicle.
Yes.
So that's the economic part. Now, to the main crux of the conversation today, we are discussing the economic ties, the economic realities of electric mobility in Nigeria. We want you to explain to us, as a professional in the mobility industry, what are those value chains that, if properly managed, dressed up, structured, they can help to, one, reduce cost of energy. We can see petrol is going up and down and the likes. Cost of mobility. Second, job opportunities, employment. What are the opportunities we can have? And the third, what's the general economic viability for it? How can it improve economy? So I was interviewing one of our colleagues in the industry. Is a consultant, and we're on radio last week, and we're discussing, and he mentioned something very critical. He said that if you look at the statistics of Nigeria, look at the GDP, the growth rate, inflation, those economic values, numbers, he said Nigeria is getting better and improving, but Nigerians are not getting better. Look at the context. He said on paper, Nigeria, inflation rate is coming down, all those indices are looking impeccable. Solid. But the reality of Nigerians is far from what's going on in the documents, right? You just like say that excellent, you got a report card from school. Excellent work, keep it up. Great, best student so far this term. And the boy can spell DOG, dog. So you can see that there's a misalignment. So how do we make e-mobility improve the life of Nigerians, not just the numbers for Nigeria? What are the value chains what are the value chains we can adopt? What are the values we can get from this entire electric mobility space in Nigeria?
Your questions are plenty. So I'll just speak to some things that came to mind.
Okay.
Firstly, I will say the cognitive distance in this country is so wide between the people that are making policies and the people that they are making the policy for. And I just advise a lot of people, just don't joke with any policy going on in your industry or whatever government is doing.
Listen and participate.
Listen and participate. For people like us, I will tell you that the opportunities I've seen since this government comes in, and they have been doing something that is really impacting
the mobility space.
Yes,
like the CNG drive.
See, I will tell you that sometimes I get overwhelmed with opportunities. Yeah, it's the way I've positioned myself to see things. We are talking about the automotive industry. How many people have even gone to download the National Automotive Policy and read it
and even understand it?
Yes, I studied it as if I was writing an exam.
Wow.
Then I did the same thing for the one for Africa, developed by Africa Exim Bank. Then I began to look into some other industry. People can say it's your industry. People can say it's your industry, but the truth is that you cannot maximize any opportunity in your industry if you don't know what is being done. If you don't know, for instance,
the direction of government.
Yes. For instance, somebody was asking me that why do we offer trainings at Autogig? It's just because I saw World Economic Forum where the money will be going to for the next 20 years. Unemployment is one of the top 3. So there's no way you will solve problem in that space and you will not make money.
And that's true. Money is just an exchange for problems to solve.
Exactly.
Catching up and discussing different things in the mobility space. We've touched on the automation process. We both agreed that the railroad in Nigeria is still a joke. And if Nigeria can focus on road infrastructure, that might be a better investment, because road is very useful for bikers like us.
Bikers, that's sentimental. But do you think so? Because I kind of thought that as per logistic strategy, rail will be ideal for long hauls, but that when you look at intercity, we should just focus on ensuring we have good roads or good transport systems.
Rail should focus on goods, not people.
See, let me even say this. Firstly, most Nigerian roads, until recently, are not designed for the prosperity of the country.
What are they designed for? Let me see that very well.
Yeah,
I think they are designed for political reasons.
We need to make that a punchline.
They are. This statement is a supply chain statement. So if you understand supply chain management very well, when we are talking about roads that are designed for prosperity of the country, we are talking about Coastal Road, Badagry, Sokoto Road, because you have to look at what are these roads feeding. You understand? For instance, now when the Coastal Road is fully completed, that means fresh seafood from Horon can get to Lagos within 6 hours.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, and this is where the consumption is. All those things. But you want to go to Abuja, look at the route you follow.
We are forced to pass through on that road. Cities that we have no business going through.
Exactly. Now, assuming those places have something that is massive, that they are contributing to the greater economy of the nation, where they have raw materials that is feeding a part in the north, feeding a part in the south or west, you understand? Then you can now say, okay, that road makes sense for us to follow. You understand? So that is on the side. I feel Nigeria in land mass is too small to have speed rails to carry people. Vis-a-vis our population.
I was in a speed rail in China. And I could differentiate. I could understand the difference between rail and speed rail.
Yeah.
I've
Even the
entered
US don't
train.
have it.
I've entered train.
That's 300
The
kilometers
train was
per hour.
moving at. I opened my phone. At some point, it was reaching 353 kilometers per hour.
Yes.
You know, my first time in Japan, there was nobody to even pick me up. There was
Wow.
everything is
Automated.
Self-service, yeah.
Yeah.
I did not. The city I was going to was like an hour away. I got there in like, and then you come down, everything is on time, everything is like.
don't joke
Let me tell you how
with the
bad it
timing.
was. There was a line on the road and said you need to stand on that line, and I was like, why am I standing on the line? I can just stand over there. Like, because the door is going to open in front of this line. It did not miss it by, and I kept on monitoring, like, okay, let it move forward. It stopped
It's
exactly
back
where we
on
went to
the line.
stop. People are lined up before, because again, you know, in China, in Japan, there's a queue.
Yeah,
It's
the-
tight.
yeah.
So you have to. So you see people line all the way back, and then once the door opens, it stops. The door locks. They move on. Precision. Everything was on
I
precision.
did the entire length of China, from extreme south China, I think from Shenzhen or Hangzhou, to the extreme north Zibo, in 6 hours plus in
Are
the
you
speed train.
serious?
And the speed train was moving at 350 something kilometers per hour. That's 300 kilometers times 6.
That's 1,800 kilometers.
So that's more than.
That's
that's
Lagos.
more
Lagos,
than Lagos
Sokoto
to-
back.
No. Yes.
Imagine that kind of distance. And I did it in 6 hours, and I didn't feel tired.
No, you don't.
Although at some point my ear was popping because that speed was ridiculous. That train was ridiculous. It was entering tunnels at that speed. I could feel the impact of other trains coming in the other direction. You could feel the
you
breeze.
serious?
It passes you like a jet, like vroom. Because
No,
it's resulting.
Just calm down. We're not getting there.
No, our own that is
Maybe
100
maybe it's
kilometers per hour.
Cyrus.
Is
Maybe it's
still,
Cyrus that would get there, right? So just calm down.
our own that is 100
let's even
kilometers
see
per hour.
what we
that
can
is-
do for
they are seeing
ourselves.
each other.
So why I said that is mainly because, well, another thing is that we are not mature enough. People still from the rail tracks.
Yes.
The metals.
Understand? So we have to get to that point. The readiness is not there. That's one. Secondly, with our population and the population of less educated people, you understand? They still need all this job.
Education, orientation.
They still need all this job. When you automate everything, you are taking them off the job. You understand what I'm saying? And we are so rigid around here, especially people that have started doing something and they feel that they have mastered it. You are telling them to come and learn something new when they're already adults. They don't want to.
You know that forms the question we're going to have in session 3, right? How do you scale up a business such as yours where you're dealing with artisans? How do you get them to work efficiently? And I was going to ask you, what do you do to keep them focused and motivated? But I don't know whether that is the right time to ask that question, but you just hit it on the head. When somebody who is not mentally, is still mentally locked in, has mastered a skill, how do you tell that person you can do it differently? How do you tell it? I remember when we moved from block engine to straight engine, or it was straight engine to block engine those days, and then they want to buy a new car, they'll say, don't buy that kind of engine.
It's a sealed engine.
It's a sealed engine. It cannot do anything. They can't repair it. So don't buy it, and then we would avoid it. I remember when we moved from.
They didn't buy
then they were
batteries. They didn't buy automatic cars when
Hold
the
on, no,
automatic
you're
cars
going
came.
far. Contact sets. Can you remember when cars had contact
Yeah.
sets? I used to know how to fix a contact set. I remember my Mitsubishi Galant, my Nissan Bluebird, my carburetor. I will remove it, put the contact set. It has a grade.
Use
put
some
it-
paper.
Use sandpaper it. I used to know how to change
When
my
injector
blocks.
came, they said don't buy car
They
that is
said
an
don't
injector.
buy injector. They said don't buy those cars that don't use contact sets. Now, how do you get them to shift in your sector?
So we discussed that, and we also mentioned the fact that EVs are coming in. How can we integrate the likes of the Camorus to be
Into
able to
that
open
world.
the bonnet of an EV and not die 3600 volts? Those are the questions that you need to answer.
So there's something I've learned about humans. when it comes to learning new things, they might be rigid, but when it comes to experiencing a better life, nobody is rigid. You understand?
When they see the need for it.
Yes. So I think it is the way we package it for them. Do you want to live better? Do you want to earn better?
And better.
Oh.
You understand?
Not do you want to know more?
Yes.
Come from the earning perspective, from the commercial perspective. That's what will make them get interested in it.
That's part of the things we do. For instance, now we had somebody that trained with us late 2024 to early 2025. After finishing his training, the first 3-month training, he interns with us for 3 months. He learned everything about EVs.
Wow.
Yeah. As in, when I said learned everything about EVs, I said learned from us, not that he has learned everything. But do you know that within 9 months, okay, so as a graduate training, an average graduate training ends about maybe 150,000 naira net. And the moment he finished his probation period, salary was increased by maybe another 70 to 80%.
Wow.
And he resigned that same month. Because he got a job that offered him 300% increment on what is being paid as an EV technician.
As an EV technician.
Yes. So that tells you, I actually felt bad then because we have been training you.
First timer, so that's that conversation.
But however, I was also happy that somebody could start
a better life.
A better life as a young man. You understand? Those kind of stories are the reasons why we are doing what we're doing. You understand? If I decided to close out whatever I'm doing now and go and open a dealership in the US, I'll be balling.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know, right?
Because there's credit infrastructure for your sales to move.
His knowledge. What is
with
done.
my exposure.
Yeah.
I had my PhD in the US, so I know what I could earn there. Sincerely, with a single dealership, I will probably double or triple.
Because you're not charging what they are charging, because you probably charge less because you know there are ways to do it. You know what they say it's what Nigerian engineers used to do at the refinery then to keep the refinery running. When those Russians and all those French guys came to repair it, they were like, "You guys are genius," because they don't know. They just know remove, fix new ones. Remove, fix new ones. Sensor, remove, fix new ones. We know how to repair it. We know how to keep those engines running.
Same thing is happening.
And that's what you
healthcare.
do.
Where a doctor is able to run an hospital without MRI scan.
Yes. And or are you talk about things like how doctors in the US and in the UK don't understand things like how to deal with women that have fibroid?
Yeah.
Because they don't have, they're not
how
there.
to deal with malaria.
They can't deal with
simple
malaria.
as malaria.
Malaria kills people these days in the US, in Russia.
Well, I think people, a society tends to have solutions for the problems they have. You know, they are skillful in it. For instance, now, people in Asia, Japan and co, they have a better way of responding to earthquake and all that.
Correct. Yes, because they are prone to it.
I pray it doesn't happen here. That would be worse than Third World War.
Because a lot of infrastructure without earthquake, they're already coming down.
Yes. Yeah. So back to what I was saying. When you show people the commercial their ability to earn better and live better, if they are able to acquire knowledge, they will be more open to it. And that's why when people come to our academy, I tell them my own story. As in, that's the first thing. I tell them that my own story. I tell them how, despite the fact that as a training engineer, I was able to build my capacity in the area of supply chain management. How even now I know FMCGs, companies that reach out to me and ask me to recommend people at high level. When I say high level in supply chain management to them, and when I recommend, they employ. because they trust my experience in that. And I'm
Supply
talking
chain
about
for
roles that people could earn as much as 50, 60 M per year. So, and it's from the same automotive industry. So, some of them, we also walk them through how they develop strategic career growth plan. You understand? We don't just teach them the technical part. In our office, they also see opportunity for growth. You understand? Opportunity for growth.
So,
And
my phone. Sorry.
Go on, please.
so they see opportunities for growth, and it's not just what comes into their pocket only, certifications and all that. In the past week, I think about 10 people, 10 people were on training for about 2 days. Those trainings are not in-house. Yes. Some of them we paid for them. Some are just dealership trainings that we have to send them out for. It will impact on operations that time, but we know that if they know better, they will do better. And
So you invest a lot in your people.
a lot. I'm not bragging, but I don't think there's any automotive company in Nigeria
And
today
invest as much as you do.
that trains people the way we do.
I think across board. In fact, it's one of the things I was going to discuss with Larry about how do we, what is training to us? Is it KSS or is it strategic training that affects various arms of business? If you spend so much on training and they leave, how do you retain knowledge?
So let me tell you something. At a point, we develop a strategy to develop our staff to be what we call mode 2 knowledge producers. And what that means is that they can relate with the academia easily. That's one of the foundations for our
Academia?
yes. That's one of the foundations of our relationship with some
Tertiary
institutions like
yeah.
Japada and all that. We collaborate on research and all that. We have some of our staff that they are so happy because they could participate in something like that. You understand? That's one. The second thing is that I'm very big on intellectual capital when it comes to and when you are able to patent something, it goes a long way. We have our plan. We know where we are going. There are some other things I may not be able to say here that influence those kind of decisions. But let me tell you, when you have a lot of high performance and well exposed staff, there's nothing that can help you to scale faster than that.
Scale, high performance, well exposed staffs. There's no substitute for it.
Substitute?
Yes.
There's no.
Okay, so bringing the conversation home now, we're talking about the economic impact of electric mobility in Nigeria now and the value chains. So what are the benefits? So let's see electric mobility like crude oil. I'm just using the context now. When you refine crude oil, there are a lot of byproducts that come out of it, right? So what are the byproducts? What are the unintended consequences that would improve? I've mentioned the difference between improved Nigerians and improved Nigeria. That will literally impact Nigerians positively. What are those value chains that even regular businesses, individuals can start positioning themselves for to make sure that they key into that value chain as that industry gets bigger?
So I've mentioned earlier that having alternatives is part of it. And secondly, cheaper transportation. Okay. Although with the volume we have now, we are not really seeing
the impact because the volume of EVs are still very, very minimal. I don't think we're up to 5% electric mobility in Nigeria yet.
I know, not up to. Then the second thing is there are some new roles that will be created, new job roles that will be created because it's totally different. The value chain too.
So we're not talking EV technician, different from mechanic now.
Yes. You don't necessarily need to to understand
The entire
the entire
vehicle part, but
before.
just focus on the e-mobility part, the BMS, the batteries, the motors, the charging
Exactly.
system, all those things.
Exactly. For instance, automotive industry before rely more on mechanical engineers. For instance, around there, because we are not producing, we are not manufacturing, we are not heavy in manufacturing. We we handle mostly after sales. So we need more of mechanical engineers. Right now, we people that study computer engineering, electrical electronics, thrives more in EV technology.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Because it's more of electronics than mechanical parts.
Yes.
There's no crankshaft. There's no
Yes.
timing chain. There's no belts. There's
Exactly.
Can't you
So-
repurpose?
Repurpose. Are you saying you want to okay for those personnel?
Those particular.
Exactly. So for instance now, part of the things we do for our own staff and our trainees is that instead of you learning this job and somebody will say, see, I'm a mechanic. Somebody will say, no, an electrician. Or somebody say, I'm an AC expert.
rewire.
Rewire.
You do have rewire.
Exactly. We make sure that you go through all the classes.
Yes.
So in
Even
our-
if it's not your core.
Yes, so in our office we have technicians that if they are working as a mechanical technician, you will wonder at their level of skills and all that. And when they want to do the electricals, the same thing. And the same person can fix air condition for you.
Doesn't mean he does it, but he knows what to do if it's
Yes, now he
Even
knows
if
how
it's not
to
his routine.
Yes, now
job,
he knows how
but
to
it can-
diagnose
it
it,
can
and
diagnose it,
knows what
can-
to do.
It's as if I just bring my grandmother's cat to your workshop right now.
So that's like the third value. So the first value is diversification. You bring diversification to our mode of energy for mobility. The second, you talked about training. It creates job employment. And I think there's a third one we've mentioned before now.
We talked about versatility and exposure, I mean, I think he's mentioned so many things. Even gone up to
categorize itself is
team
difficult.
selection. How does it select people?
Yeah.
You were mentioned. There's something you mentioned about where you talked about each person being able to transfer knowledge at a point in time.
Yes.
It's
Okay.
So
is this systemized or it is just an unwritten rule?
So it used to be an unwritten rule until I started my PhD. So
Your thesis was focused on
not just
Right.
thesis, because I did a lot of projects during that period, and my office was
your practical.
exactly. That was a time that we didn't have an HR department, so all the managers were the HR managers. So you're the HR manager of your team, and it worked. In fact, it helped us during COVID. It worked until we started growing exponentially. We discovered that at this point,
It's becoming overwhelming for those.
yes.
leaders.
And let me just say, probably maybe I don't really have time enough to say, let me think this thing through. How do we tweak this? You understand? And most of those things were designed by me and run by me when we were still small. Assuming we now have an HR department that I walk them through, this is what we have been doing, and I expect them to take that
Take it up
research
from
to
them,
another
continue from there.
level. And so
Interesting.
a lot is going on, especially with the NSQF that the federal government introduced, National Skill Qualification Framework,
Okay.
in which somebody that didn't enter a school can learn from level 1 to level 9, and level 9 is equivalent to a PhD.
Oh.
Wow.
Yes. And that's why there's something we are also doing now with a university, that when you go through our training, the foundation and the senior technician certification, just need to do 4 semesters in that university.
And then you get a degree. What
Because
school is
you've
that?
learnt almost all
Yeah,
the
it's a
basics.
technical university, but when we announce officially,
I'd like to run something like that with them, because that would be helping people acquire it? How you're scaling up the economy at scale?
Yes.
We're talking about the impact on Nigerians. We talked about diversity. We talked about human capital development. So what other value chain? Because I want listeners to be able to start positioning themselves at, okay, for example, somebody that have heard you now know that, okay, if I studied mechanical engineering in school, let me just go and learn EV technical things now so that I can be relevant in the future as a Nigerian. We've talked about the diversity for people that run businesses and have the cash. That yes, you have petrol vehicles, but start thinking of EVs just for energy security so that it won't disrupt the value chain and your business model. So now, what are the other segments that people can also start? Let's say somebody has a stack of cash now. I think we mentioned that, okay, you can even be a dealer, right? You can decide to start selling electric vehicles because it's now a valid alternative in Nigeria now.
And it's already tested and people are already using it.
Yes, and they are also coming to Nigeria now. BYD is in Nigeria, Wuling is Nigeria. A lot of them are coming to Nigeria to set up Nigeria. Jetor is an official partner in Nigeria with Toyota.
Yep.
So those vehicles are coming in. So what are the other value chains along that line that people can start positioning themselves for to make a direct economic impact for them?
Okay. So the opportunity in this space is massive, but at the same time, it's not somebody that just finished from school can easily plug into because they are mostly capital intensive.
Even the training is not cheap.
The training too is not cheap, yeah. So, charging infrastructure is part of it.
That's a major restriction why we don't see EVs on the highways.
Yes.
We mostly see them in city, intra-city
charging
movement.
infrastructures. Do you know that we have trucks that are electric? That you should be able to do battery swapping within 3 to 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes, we have some of them like that.
I saw a video recently.
In Nigeria?
BYD is pushing something crazy now. Most electric vehicles come with the DC fast charger and the AC charger, right? And some DC chargers can go as high as 100 kilowatts while charging. So within minutes, they say 30 minutes, 20 minutes, they are fully charged. Now BYD is doing one they call flash charging.
Yes.
You literally get 100% charged in like 5 minutes. But you need to charge with double gun. So there will be one DC charger plugged on the right side, another DC charger plugged on the left side. And I think maybe each of them is charging at about 100 kilowatts or something ridiculous like that. Your charging is actually going like, not like you're starting a timer and the milliseconds, and you are literally seeing your battery growing like this. And when it's done, you usually have more than almost 700 kilometers range.
So,
pure EV.
I do say it. Whoever wins the battery technology race will win the EV market. And I think BYD has really gone.
I think BYD is the biggest car manufacturer now in the world.
Yes, they are.
They've overtaken Tesla.
Yeah. Is it
car
biggest manufacturer? No, I think they sold more.
The biggest, yeah. They sold more than all of them.
But as of last week, Volkswagen has overtaken again.
Because of their diversity.
Yes.
Volkswagen, their EV cars good?
Yeah.
They have ID4, ID6.
Yes, but for some reasons, there is a lot of acceptance for their products.
Diversification is also helping Volkswagen because they own Skoda, they own Porsche, they own MAN trucks, MAN trucks, they own Bentley. So they own a lot of brands.
And all that.
So that's part of what is helping the Volkswagen group.
But we have other automotive brands too, that because all these things are their family,
Yes.
Different automobile brands have their home family. So what I want to say is that there is one of their recent products that they said the battery, probably maybe they had something hydrogen to the lithium. And on a single charge, the vehicle can travel about 1,300 to 1,500 kilometers.
VW?
No, BYD.
Hey.
Oh.
So,
Hey.
So
that means you charge once a month.
No. I'm literally going from,
15,
let's say I'm
20,
going to, not even once a month. Let's say I'm going from Lagos to Abuja. No, for a petrol vehicle, you might need to stop like twice to refuel. Once or twice to refuel.
This one, you go to and fro.
You are going all the way.
Yes.
Yeah, you stay 5 minutes from the office. You could
Literally, that was once a
in
month.
2
That's
months
once a
now.
month. You
I'm
don't
even
need
seeing a better application here. That means a flight from New York to Heathrow can be electric
because of the range.
because of the range.
Because when you stack those batteries,
Yes,
they will deliver longer range.
longer range.
And that now becomes, because one of the drawbacks for e-mobility was the energy density. The weight of what they will carry to the amount of energy they can get from it. So if an aircraft is carrying a 2-ton battery bank, how much range can it get from 2-ton battery bank? But with this now, it means that imagine having 2 tons of this kind of battery. Consider the amount of backup, the range you get from that.
And this, who has the best technology for batteries right now?
I think
The
BYD
Chinese?
is leading.
BYD.
BYD is leading.
I think BYD is leading.
And mind you, why BYD is leading is the fact that, first of all, the original thing BYD was known for, what they started with, was just batteries. They were literally making batteries, not even before EVs came. They were making batteries for the electric inverters industry. They were just making batteries. Then Tesla came and started using BYD batteries because they've mastered the battery technology to a large extent. Before BYD now started producing their own vehicles, producing their own vehicles now opened them to how they can tweak the batteries they've been producing to completely sync, at least in best efficient ways, to run their batteries with mobility.
So I think a lot of things contributed to that. You know, at some point, Tesla has to release thousands of its patents.
Yes.
Yeah.
For the Tesla, we cannot take that from Tesla.
So they
Elon
Why
Musk
were they forced to?
developed
Why were they
the
forced to?
e-mobility.
they were not
control.
forced to.
He decided
They
to do
decided
that.
to do that to
And
drive
that's
the
why
ecosystem.
the mobility grew.
Yeah.
Because it also helped him.
It helped
The
him,
fact
but now
that
it's not
their
helping him.
competitors also helped Tesla to
I
grow.
saw that he released 3 versions of the Y.
Okay.
Tesla Y, just like a couple of weeks or months back.
Okay.
And I was like, if you have these models, why is BYD giving you a run for your money? You should be able to.
Cost. It's cost of production can't match cost of production in China.
Exactly.
And one of the things that caused down cost of production in China is because China has knowledge clusters.
You know, tooling and all
Tooling.
that.
If you need 1,000 people that are specified in microelectronic soldering now, you can walk into a region or a segment and find the 1,000 of them.
Apart from that, I think the Chinese government provide a unique support for their industry, not to just produce, but to take over the whole world.
It was intentional. It was an intentional.
Exactly.
It was intentional. It was an intentional roadmap.
So, but America, you can't force people to move to EVs. Despite the fact that there are incentives when you buy your EVs.
But a Chinese law China can pass a law and people will fall in because.
In fact, let me tell you something. One of the reasons why the Chinese are pushing EVs more is because
energy
security.
It's energy security.
They were too dependent on petrol.
That's why the US
look at what they saw coming.
Venezuela. People that could sell to them, they have been restricted one way or the other, stylishly by the United States. So, you know, they are just trying to protect themselves, and they are trying to improve on the technology all the time to make sure that they
are self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Now, I saw a video recently of a mountain in China. The entire mountain was covered with solar panels. They weren't looking for aesthetically pleasing solar panels already. They were just every single space, every single square meter they could just littered with solar panels. I was like, how much
are you
power
saying we should go to Ekiti State and go and use those
hills there?
Yeah, you know.
Not to make it say, look at the north, look at the large. You can drive hours in the midst of open fields in the north, and those lands are just there. Yeah, they are family lands and all those things, but there are better ways to put them to use. Imagine if those places are harnessing energy and they are joining the grid. That would have been game changer. Although
joining the grid, that's the question. We still don't have that grid that can transmit.
We can't actually make them join the grid because the grid doesn't have the capacity to transmit that kind of energy. We still have transmission problems in Nigeria. So our problems are way complicated.
And then if you generate so much, there is no industry per se that can consume that amount of
That's
power
there.
in the north at the
So you
moment.
still have to transmit that energy. And Lagos, I was saying jokingly to somebody that I think I might be wrong, but I think 40% of the energy consumed in Nigeria is consumed in Lagos. That's my opinion.
Most likely.
There's a high chance.
Yeah.
You
I'm
think
not
so
talking
too?
about grid, though. I'm not talking about grid, like generators. So every total energy consumed in Nigeria, I think 40% of it is consumed
When
in
you merge
Lagos.
Ogun State with it, then you are likely to be talking about 50%.
50%, yeah, because factories are there in Ogun State, the commercial, industrial is here in Lagos. Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, so in a bit to wrap up now, because we try to keep
No,
up
he's
with
not
the
going
time.
to tell. He's not going to tell our users, our audience, the fastest way to set up an EV.
EV technician, EV shop.
If you
Yeah.
shop.
Yeah, that's
how-
what we're talking about, the
and
value
how-
chain.
and
We are
how
talking
you
about
can
the
help them.
infrastructure.
And how you can help them get it done.
Yes, now.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
yes,
can
yes.
also
So-
throw in numbers so that they just know, okay, this is my budget. They don't, they can go
So they
and
can call us
check
on
their
the-
colo and be putting
and
their
see how
own
much they
naira.
can bring
Yes.
together, because we have to create the value chain. And you've mentioned the charge infrastructure, you mentioned the diversification in energy security, you mentioned human capital development, and I think there's another one you mentioned passively. EV tires are different from regular vehicle tires.
That's another part of the supply
So,
chain.
you know, but when I mentioned that the value chain is also big. And when I mentioned policy the other time, do you know that the EV industry policy in Nigeria, if you are selling an EV brand,
Okay.
and you set up an assembly plant, you're expected to transfer from SKD to CKD within 3 years. So
if it starts with SKD, semi knockdowns,
so
you must
knockdown,
move to complete knockdowns.
complete knockdown, which means that you have to source a reasonable number of your spare parts locally.
Wow.
So the question is that what are those spare parts on an EV that you can source locally?
Still.
The ones that you have the raw materials, which are the ones that you can.
We're here for you.
There
Tell
was a
us.
time, the first national automotive policy, the one that was released in 2012, and when I saw that the government then was following it to letters, that was one of the reasons why I left paid employment in 2015, because I know where I want to play. I did an analysis, setting up an adhesive facility to support a 25,000 car production assembly plant in a year. We make fastener for them, paper tape, and gums, and all that. Do you know that you break even in the first year?
Oh,
What? Do you say that again?
We break even.
the first
the
year.
first year.
Everything invested is back.
Yes.
Is the demand available?
That is exactly what we are talking about. We now have several assembly plants in Nigeria.
From Nigeria. It's about building the pipeline.
Most of them right now are doing SKD. Probably maybe they are not using a reasonable number of adhesive now. But as time goes on, government will start
Drawing down
putting
their neck.
an embargo and say, okay, if you are bringing your vehicle to Nigeria to assemble in Nigeria, this item must not come
with
with
it.
it.
Because it can be available locally.
Both are not. It's also part of it. We have thousands of them.
Just make sure you get the specification you need, the
So-
strength, the threading pattern,
Yes.
and everything.
Trading pattern, the one that talks, the one that
Torque screws and all those
screws
things.
and all that. So it's the opportunity is so massive and that's why I said most of the time the cognitive distance between the people and the policy
And
the
we have glass in
makers
Nigeria too,
and
for the
people that-
windshield and all those
Of
things.
course, yes. Of course, yes. So, and if you are not producing in Nigeria, have you gone to other African countries? Have you seen raw materials that are being produced? I was in Algiers last year. I met a company from Egypt, and they supply a lot of assembly plants in Africa, windscreen. In fact, they have developed their economy of scales to a point where they could compete in price with those coming from China.
Whoa.
And through Africa Free Trade Continental Agreement,
AFTA.
yes, you can bring in those windshield to Nigeria
Tax free.
tax free.
Mm.
So a lot of things goes into this thing that people need to now acquire knowledge if they want. They have to do it deliberately. I want to play in this industry. What are the things I need to know? And they invest there.
I think the hardest thing for, and three of us on this table are entrepreneurs at heart. The hardest thing for us is being able to focus, because when we see an opportunity, we're like, should we jump into it and fill that void?
You know, I mentioned it earlier. That, see, sometimes I see the opportunities on ground and I get overwhelmed. Yeah, I get if you are not focused.
Focus.
So, and that's why I encourage a lot of people that have Japada. They have seen the way things work out there.
So you should Japada.
Japada. The
Come and take up
opportunity
these
is massive
opportunities.
here, as in.
Please, producer, make sure that's the watchword. That's the opportunity is massive here. Japada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we've got a lot of insight today, and it's a rare privilege you get to be you 3 times consecutively, as in 3 times consecutively. It's an honor to have you on the show. Thank you so much. This should have been a show where we should just be sipping some coffee or tea or something like that. But especially with the cold, it's a cold studio. But it's really an honor having you around.
Thank you so much.
And definitely, we personally are also looking at how we can key into those opportunities without being distracted. That's something we discussed off the camera, because yes, we are close to that industry because we do renewables, right? But there's a lot of opportunity in that space that is coming our way that we still need to key in, and definitely that's where collaboration will come in. So I think it's a collaborative thing. We can just focus on infrastructure charging, because I think we're discussing that it doesn't make sense using diesel to charge electric vehicles.
Exactly.
It's there, energy security is not there.
I think I even have an opportunity that we can work together on almost as soon as we get off the set, but let's see.
No problem.
So thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
And for the latecomers that came, and by the time you cut and see the scene again, just notice that how come we became 3 suddenly? Sorry, we came into the studio pretty late. It's really an honor to have this episode with TBO again. And till we catch you next time on Talking Watts, thank you for listening and watching. Bye for now.